Cardiovascular disease and diabetes are among the top 10 leading causes of premature death, and obesity is linked to both of these. Now, your heart is a pump. When we're talking about the cardiovascular part, it's a pump that's always pumping. So we're talking about parts of the pump that are damaged, we're talking about the arteries of the heart that can be damaged, the valves, and everything else. Diabetes is another disease that's pretty serious if it's not regulated right. It takes diet, takes exercise is another one, but it could be insulin, and that's another part of that. And obesity is growing rampant in the United States as well as all the world. And a lot of that has to do with technology today, has to do with fast food joints. You see fast food places everywhere you go. But there's a way to fight all this. Exercising regularly can help prevent obesity, make your heart stronger, and help with the prevention of diabetes. Now, when we're talking about exercise, we're talking about, it can take as much time or as little time as you want. 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, an hour a day. So it just depends on what you want to do. There's cardio, which includes running, swimming, walking, riding a bike, jump rope, anything. Or you can get into weight training, which is something a lot of people like to do. Before you do that, any exercise regimen, you always want to talk to your doctor, make sure that you're fit for it at that time before you get started. No one is immune to these three diseases, but there's an easy way to prevent them. Exercising regularly can help prevent obesity. In an article in the BBC, Dr. Gil Jenkins reviewed it. It stated that obesity is responsible for 9,000 premature deaths a year. Now, I don't know about you, but to me that's a lot of people dying from being obese. Several causes of it. TV. Nowadays the TVs are in everybody's bedrooms. They're in the living room. Some people have them in their garages, their kitchens. People are sitting around watching TV all the time now as opposed to being outside doing things. Video games is another one that helps cause this. People get home from school, or kids get home from school, even parents get home from work, play video games all night long as opposed to being outside exercising, running around, playing games, doing things. And I'm kind of a candidate for that too. I like playing the games, but you got to be able to put them down. Another one's computers. Everybody's always on their computers nowadays. Facebook, Pinterest. I do like Pinterest. Twitter, all those things. It seems exercise, or PE is what we used to call it in school, has changed. It's not as strict or as physical demanding as it used to be years ago, so that has a lot to do with obesity. Fast food. You can't go anywhere without seeing a McDonald's sign or a Burger King sign, Taco Bell. They're everywhere. So, it's just made it easier for everybody to run and grab something to eat. A lot of health problems are associated with the obesity. Again, on the BBC, another article entitled "Importance of Exercise" is reviewed by Dr. Gil Jenkins. It said the government-commissioned Foresight report predicted that if nothing was done, that 60% of men, 50% of women, and 25% of children would be obese by 2050. And that's quite a bit. And they actually stated that that number is growing more than what they predicted, so it's probably going to be more than that. A lot of the problems with obesity is you got a lot of it. Your body is made to carry a certain amount of weight. The bigger you get, the heavier you get, you put a lot more weight and force on your bones, on your joints, causing those to work a lot harder, causing soreness, stiffness. Trying to get out of bed gets harder. And that happens as you get older, but the heavier you are, it makes it worse. When you get obese, you tend to be more tired, and you tend to sit around a lot. So your muscles don't do a lot, your joints don't do a lot, so you become weak. So it makes it harder to get up and do things. A major contributory factor from obesity is heart disease. It's just your heart has to pump, and the more weight you put on it, it's harder to pump. Diabetes can be affected by obesity. They say the prominent diabetic community are obese people. So this leads to exercising regularly can make your heart stronger. Okay, your heart, like I said, is the pump. I consider it the brain of your body. Even though you have a brain, but without your heart, your body is not going to function, because that is what's pumping all the time. When you go to sleep, your skeletal muscles aren't doing anything. Your bones aren't doing anything, but your heart is still pumping, it never stops. So what it's doing is it's feeding oxygen-rich blood to all your organs. And your organs have to have oxygen to function. So that's why you want a strong heart. One of the biggest things we think about with the hearts are heart attacks or myocardial infarctions. Okay, when you say heart attack, people think, oh, somebody's dead. That's not what happens. All it is that it's damage to your heart. It attacks the young and the old. It's not discriminatory. You can be, with my job, I've seen people in their 20s with heart attacks, all the way up to 90s having heart attacks. Doesn't matter how old you are. It depends on how strong your heart is. There's an article from the Mayo Clinic Health Letter. It's titled Exercise for Your Heart. It said that regular physical activity helps your cells more easily access oxygen from your blood, decreasing the workload on your heart and improving your ability to exercise. What it's doing is it's dilating or making your veins and vessels bigger, allowing more blood to be able to flow through. It helps fight sclerosis, clogging of the arteries, and this can also lead to throwing blood clots. You know, if you get a lot of clogging of your arteries, the more your heart pumps, you got a potential to throw clots, which can go to the brain, cause a stroke. But that's a totally different deal. The leading cause of death is coronary artery disease, which, you know, that's all over, not just here in the United States. Exercising regularly can help prevent diabetes. We're going to keep it short. I could get into a big long thing about diabetes, but all that is that your body can't use glucose properly, and glucose is sugar. Your body has to have sugar for it to operate. To show how important, you know, diabetes is, I'm a paramedic, and every patient we go on, we check their blood sugar. Doesn't matter what the call is, every patient gets a blood sugar check. That just kind of shows you how important that can be. Again, diet can help control it, and exercise. And one of the big problems with diabetes, you always have to have sugar with you, be it a candy bar, be it the little sugar wafers that diabetics have to carry, or that type of stuff. And a lot of it is you have to carry, if you're an insulin dependent, you have to carry syringes, your insulin, you have to give yourself shots all the time. So the BBC News reported that by 2015, the number of diabetes-related amputations is expected to rise to 7,000 a year. So that's 7,000 people having something amputated because of diabetes. What diabetes does is it reduces blood flow to the vessels, mainly in the feet, and it causes nerve damage, which reduces sensation. A lot of people with diabetes, as they get older, end up having a foot amputated, a leg amputated, and that's from the nerve vessels closing up, not getting blood flow down there, which causes that part of your body to die, so they have to take it off. Injuries to the feet are real bad because when you lose your sensation to it, you know, you stub your toe, you hit your foot on something, you might have a sore, or it might cut it, and you don't know it that well, but an infection will set in, and you try and treat it, but without the blood flow in there, it's hard to heal, so they usually have to amputate it. In the Diabetes UK, up to 88% of foot amputations could be avoided with better care. So, you know, people need to start taking care of that a little better. And exercise can help keep those vessels open and keep the blood flowing to reduce that. You have to monitor your blood sugar every day. When you get up in the morning, check your sugar. Afternoon, check your sugar. Before you eat, after you eat. So you're always poking your finger, getting blood samples to see what your blood sugar is. Diabetes can get pretty expensive. Insurance does cover some stuff, but a lot of people don't have insurance. So you have to buy your insulin, you have to buy your syringes, you have to buy the test strips, and it gets pretty expensive. So with something as simple as exercise being able to help all this stuff, it's a good option. Exercising regularly can help prevent obesity, make your heart stronger, and help with the prevention of diabetes. Just a little bit of exercise a day. 20 minutes a day, 45 minutes a day, or an hour. Real simple. Even though our lives are overrun with work, kids, and everyday events, 30 to 60 minutes a few days a week is not too much to sacrifice for a healthy and long life.